social skills, the first thing that a child has to learn is, as Sandeep said clearly, to communicate.
Right? If you see with little toddlers, when they're crying, they're trying to express that they're either hungry or sleepy.
Hello and welcome to Ting Tang, your go-to panel discussion on the evolving landscape of Indian K-12 education. I'm Arya Vidya, your host for today's session. Our focus is on a crucial aspect of early childhood learning, language development in the early years, how to support it at school and home. Joining me is a panel of distinguished experts who will share their insights, strategies, and real-world experiences to help parents and educators nurture strong language skills in young learners. Let's dive right in. Joining us today is Mrs. Bibhudutta Satpathy, Center Head of Global Toddlers, Whitefield. With nearly 2 decades of expertise in child psychology and early childhood education, she is known for creating nurturing child-centered learning environments. Holding a master's in child psychology, she specializes in emotional development, behavioral management, and early intervention strategies. Mrs. Bibhudutta has been instrumental in introducing play-based and inclusive learning practices and guiding parents through workshops on child development. Her compassionate leadership inspires young minds to feel safe, valued, and curious about learning. Next, we have Mr. Sandeep Rao, Director of Little Genie Preschool, which proudly operates 3 branches across Bengaluru and has recently won the Best Preschool Award. His journey began as a passionate preschool teacher and child care mentor, nurturing young learners with care and creativity. Today, he leads Little Genie, focusing on innovation, child engagement, and holistic growth. His dedication to shaping early education continues to set benchmarks for quality preschool learning. Let's welcome the panelists to the panel discussion. So first we'll go for a general question. Each of the panelists can answer. So why do you think that language development in the early years is considered as a foundation for the child's future learning and success?
Yeah. So see, language is a key route to expression. So when a child learns language, the child is progressing on the path of expressing what he or she wants, which is very important. Also with language, when you understand language a little better, these are little kids, so they don't really speak very well, or like us adults, they are at a very nascent stage and age, but that fosters thinking, that helps them understand concepts a lot better when their language is stronger. So language is a key to expression for the child. The child can express better, it is less frustrating for the child. Right? If you see with little toddlers, when they're crying, they're trying to express that they're either hungry or sleepy or something is bothering them. They're crying because they can't express it with words. So the more they get better with language, the better. That is a key, I would think, a key facet to learning. The better the language development, the easier and more comfortable the child is with all kinds of learning.
So to add on to what Sandeep said, what does language actually mean? Language means communication, and being humans, we are social animals. Our main purpose is to communicate, interact with each other, share our feelings with each other, because we don't stay in caves or in isolation. We have to be in the society, part of the society. So to build these social skills, the first thing that a child has to learn is, as Sandeep said clearly, to communicate. Communication can be verbal as well as non-verbal. There are 2 forms of communication. The one he mentioned of crying and all, when children are in the stage of being babies, they also communicate. When they're hungry, we come to know they're hungry because they cry. When they're happy, they will giggle, they will smile. So that's a form of communication. But as they grow on to maybe 2.5 years, from 2 to 3 years or whatever, these symbols or these non-verbal communication may not work because everyone may not understand. Now they have to go beyond their house and interact with other children or other kids in the society, in the school or wherever. So definitely language is the key role which helps them to develop confidence, to interact with others, and to grow on to be the individual that they are meant to be.
Yeah, okay, that was an a clear-cut idea about the topic. So next question is to Mrs. Bibhudutta Satpathy. So, what's one surprising factor that boosts the child's language learning?
So personally, if you would ask me, being a mother of two kids, and interacting with children, as you already know about it for 2 decades. So what I feel is, casual conversation with children, everyday conversation.
Absolutely.
You don't have to make a child sit and then teach language. That's not how
Exactly.
language happens. When small children are there, they love to observe you. I've seen my kids observing me.
Yeah.
So just basically going in a drive, I see a cloud, I'll say, what a beautiful cloud. So they are hearing two words as to beautiful and cloud. You keep repeating, then suddenly you will say, sometimes when they see the cloud, they will tell their uncle and aunt, and because they have got those two words. Grammar is not important when they are small. They need to learn different words. Grammar they will develop slowly.
They'll pick the words.
Yes,
then
and slowly forming sentence is not important. Gaining words, different words, identifying this is a table, chair, whatever. Even while doing the cooking, if you say this is a ladle that I'm using, or this is a pot that I'm doing, this is a jug. Now I'm going to pour water from the jug in the glass and I'll give it to you. So jug and glass, these words. So informal conversations. Second thing, another best method for small children is rhymes and stories.
Okay.
The more you
Perfect.
tell them rhymes,
Absolutely.
the more you tell them stories. In rhymes, the intonation that you take, the actions that you make, that adds on, that excites them. That they are so curious as to know what is going to be happening, what is action. Similarly in stories, you pause in between. You're telling her, once upon a time there was a girl. So they heard something once upon a time happened. And then you pause. And then you're thinking what is going to happen next. And what I used to do, and I even told many of my parents, keep changing the story every day. Every time it should not be once upon a time there was a girl, once upon a time some monkey, donkey, anything you can put in. So there's a surprise element. So I feel these are the things which would help in language development.
Yeah, they are unknowingly learning things.
They are
instead
unknowingly
of,
learning.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Moving on to the next question, Mr. Sandeep Rao. So, are the preschool classrooms are doing enough to encourage the real world conversations, not just rote learning?
Depends on which is at preschool, to be very honest.
Okay.
Look, there are 1 to a dozen, there are 1 to a million preschools. So I think parents have to do their research as to what is the best kind of learning, best kind of schooling and so on. But generally speaking, I don't think so. See, we Indians are very much academic based.
Yeah.
For us, we want our child to learn writing very fast and learn,
good scores.
yes, learn this, learn that very fast. Whereas abroad, it's not like that. It starts at a later age for them. Even writing, for that matter, they start at a very later age, which I think is right.
Which is exactly at 7 or
Yes,
8.
please.
Okay.
Yes, please. 7 is when it starts
In India,
abroad
it
for them.
starts from 3.
Yes,
and a
please.
half.
By
For us,
nursery, we are
yes, nursery,
at
it's
least teach
writing
them to
time
hold
for
the
them.
pencils. Yeah.
Absolutely. Alphabet time, alphabet writing in nursery, what we said. I agree with the Western kind of viewpoint with regards to writing and so on. But to answer your question specifically, I think that we need really to think, even generally in education, for us, the higher the marks you get, the more intelligent you are.
Yeah.
That's the philosophy we Indians think. So if a child is scoring very good, he's supposed to be so brilliant. In fact, they give examples. Look at that child, your neighbor, he scored 98, you've scored 70, so you are poor and you're not as good as him. You've got to be as good as him, which is not really. See, you can't measure intelligence in those with that kind of comparison. But we are too much. See, again, it depends on which school you are in. You must have a school that is stress-free, that fosters learning, where you give sufficient time for every activity. There is no great pressure to write at 3 or learn this at 4 or do that at 5. So if you believe in that kind of open-ended learning, where there is no fixed time schedule for that, and there's a lot of activity-based, like ma'am also said earlier in one of her answers, one of her talk, that rhyme, all these activities like rhyme singing, storytelling, all those kinds of those activities really build the education of a child. So preschooling must be all about that than to repeat and learn, which is the traditional form of learning.
So in general, what is the trend going on preschools? Like, are they really fosters the real conversations, or is there in their academics and all?
Some do, if I say.
Okay.
There's some very good schools that offer that kind of learning, but there are also a lot others that believe in the traditional form of repetitive learning and mugging up and those kinds of things. It depends again. There's a market full of hundreds and thousands of schools, so you have to select and know for yourself, do some research, and see which kind of school is best for your child.
I think this is a topic that we need to be addressed next.
Absolutely. See, this is, may I just say, before you can move on to the next thing, this is the foundation years. These 4 years, from age of 2 to 6, builds the foundation of the child. You've got to make sure that the nurturing is bang on in this age. Because once the child reaches 6, the child is fairly big when the child goes to first standard. So this is when we do most of the work, which sets the tone for the future years.
My next question to ma'am. So we have mentioned about the storytelling in the beginning. So how can the storytelling become a magic tool for early language learning?
I think when I explained also, so every time you tell a story, there has to be a new element. You don't disclose whatever is there at the first go. So when you're telling a story, don't tell the entire story at one go, because next time when you tell, there's no surprise element. So your previous question spoke about surprise. So in storytelling also, always there should be a surprise. The ending should keep changing. Characters should keep changing. Characters should feel from your daily life. When you're telling a story to a child, you take characters from his or her friend's life. You use his friend's name in the story. You use his uncle, whoever is his favorite characters in the story. Unless there is a surprise element in a story, it doesn't attract the children. And this age children, if you talk about, their exposure is so variant. They are all using phones and seeing those cartoons and all that. So why will they be attracted to your story unless there is something different? With everything they are seeing, everything they are hearing, their experiences
They
too
get
much.
in 3D and 4D.
4D. So why will your story attract when you are sitting and telling once upon a time grandma did this or grandpa did it? They are not interested in that. They want to see Superman flying or Spider-Man, sending the webs. So instead of that, why should they listen to your story? Unless there is a surprise element. There is some catch.
Unless you make it interesting.
Make it interesting. You have to build
You need
the
to
suspense.
make them curious.
Make them curious. That is the main purpose of telling a story.
Yeah. Okay, ma'am. So moving on to the next question to sir. So how can the teachers spark curiosity in children who are shy or hesitant to speak?
Right. The first thing is the teacher must accept whatever the child gives back in return.
Yeah.
You don't have to correct the child. Let's say the child will not speak proper grammatical English. It is fine. See, you must encourage thinking and conversation and learning with your method. As a teacher, it's important to include every child. There are these hesitant, shy children that need fostering as well. So as a teacher, your main job is to encourage learning, have open-ended questions, listen to every child's answer, whatever the child says. Sometimes you hear the strangest, if you've been in a classroom, yes, please. Yeah. He might start off while answering something that you ask him. He might go off into, my uncle came yesterday, he brought me this, I love Spider-Man. He might go off into that. It's important to be patient and listen to him and encourage him to talk, not correct him and shut him down saying, I asked you something else.
Yeah.
Right? That kind does not work at all. So I think you'll be a very good teacher if you just have the patience and have enough, I would say, you give enough space for the child to answer in whatever way he or she wants.
Yeah, actually, during the previous era, the child is not answering to the question. If the child is an introvert, teachers are not ready to accept that.
Exactly.
There is an introvert, extrovert, and ambivert personalities are there. So teachers will give punishment. Why you are
Punishment
not
culture is
answering?
not
I
there
know.
anymore.
Yeah.
That doesn't
Just
happen.
if I add on to what Sandeep said and from my experience in the school, so at the beginning of the year only I tell the teachers during induction, your slates have to be clean. Your experiences should be on the other side of the slate. So every batch that comes in is a new slate. I mean, new experience that you will keep writing. oh, so and so child, this is there, that is. So you don't build on that, oh, next batch everyone was speaking, this batch I didn't get. That's the first thing. Second thing, for encouraging the introvert children or those who are not talking, a principle which I follow in our school is make them leaders. We have the book distribution, pencil, crayon, activity distribution. These shy children, they don't want to get up and interact. You call them and make them the leader and keep saying them, go give this to so and so, go give this to ABC, give this to XYZ. So they feel, first they'll be reluctant, but once they start doing it, once they give, they connect with that child. Sometimes they start speaking. It has worked. It's one of the methods we have seen, and it has worked many times. So making them leaders, giving them different roles, sometimes, pulls them out of, being shy and sitting in one place.
Understanding the child individually is really very important.
It is very important.
Especially in the early years.
Absolutely.
We are going through an interesting panel discussion. So in the middle of that, we are taking a small break. Welcome back to the panel discussion. We are resuming the discussion with ma'am. So, ma'am, can too many corrections harm the child's confidence in speaking?
Definitely. Since it's the initial phase, if the child is in the initial phase, there are two types. Some kids who are already smart, if you make correction, they'll adapt very soon. If a child is shy, reluctant to understand, and is already delayed in speech, is picking up, and every time you correct him for grammatical mistakes and all, definitely the child will realize maybe not speaking is the best option. Why should I open my mouth and be corrected at all the time? So even if they make mistakes, keep encouraging them. Unconsciously or unknowingly frame that question in a different way and correct them.
Okay.
I go to park. You say, you can go to park. Yes, you should go. I will go to park with you. So you are rephrasing a sentence and saying, but directly not correcting the child. Because once direct correction starts, then the children will lose their confidence. They will be reluctant to speak. They will not speak. They'll speak alone with you. Yeah. They would not like to speak when others are there. Yeah. That confidence level goes down in there.
Okay. Moving on to the next question to Sir. So, Sir, how can we help kids think naturally in two or more languages? So, the kids may be handling their mother tongue, their second language, and also they have to deal with English. So, how do the kids are handling three or more languages?
Yeah. So actually, kids have a great, I would say, capacity to learn multiple languages, even at a very young age. Studies show that they can learn up to 7 languages.
7 languages?
When we adults can't probably do that much.
In the early age?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Absolutely. So the way that I would think honestly that it's better off that the child thinks or learns in either 1 or 2 languages, not multiple languages. It's very tough to have 4 or 5 languages running in your head. But if you want the child to think in, let's say, 2 languages, you have to introduce the second language properly. Okay. When you say, let's say you speak in English, you say, I'm going to the park. You translate that into, say, Hindi. If you want him to pick up Hindi, also say, if I was speaking Hindi, I would say this, that main park ja raha hoon. So you give a parallel interpretation so that he also understands and picks up. It's a slow process, but eventually there's no better way than to interpret that one language he's strong in, to interpret those words into the second language you want him to pick up.
Is there any negative impact of learning too many languages in the early age? Like,
Not really. Actually, they're very curious. They love to learn. If it's introduced interestingly, they love to pick up. Learning is great fun for them. But I would say, as a certified teacher, I would say too many languages. He enjoys. Yeah, it's not advisable that he learns 3, 4, 5 languages at a very young age.
okay. Is there a problem that they will mix up the words
They
from one
sometimes-
language to another?
And now, which I've seen recently, is with the parents coming from two different
That happens a lot. Yeah.
Telugu and North Indian. So they are speaking at home two languages already, two dialects, and then they come to school and they have to speak in English.
Okay.
Some are able to do it very well, but some definitely face a problem.
But I would just like to add that they have a great capacity, much more than we think. Actually, we think they're small little babies, they can't, but they have a great grasping power.
Yeah.
They
As
really
per
can
child
grasp.
psychology, within 5 years, they can very easily learn 5 languages.
Yes,
They can,
absolutely.
within 5 years. See, sometimes, children go in the buses, initially they pick up Kannada also because the matron is
Absolutely.
giving those, sit there, kutkolli,
yeah.
whatever they say, immediately they pick it up. So they have that capability to do it
Like they learn through listening.
through listening.
Yes, please.
So my next question is to ma'am. So we have discussed about gadgets. So we are in a society in which the gadgets play a major role, especially when it comes to children. So are the gadgets a friend or foe in early language learning?
See, to my opinion, it could be both. Now, if you want them to learn, for instance, now if they want to learn the phonic sound, we give them the phone to adapt to hear the sounds and all. But if from there they move on to games and all, so it has to be supervised. So if a gadget is being given, it has to be time-based, it has to be supervised. But now with the trend that is happening, that their friends have it, their neighbors have it, their cousins have it, so stopping children from having it also is difficult. But sometimes you need them also for them to learn the rhymes, to listen to the stories or the phonic sounds that we follow. So I feel it's a hands-on. I mean, both should go parallelly, but it should be limited by the parents. Parents should restrict the time spent, should supervise how much time they are spending and what actually they are seeing in them. So if it is supervised, then I think it's better.
So are the preschools are giving gadgets to the kids?
No.
I don't think anyone does.
No.
And may I just add, I think especially at a very young age, it's very detrimental to the child's progress to give them gadgets. Most mothers or fathers, they're busy with work or something. You want to keep the child sitting in one place, so they start the habit, or eating, while eating, no? So he or she eats, the child eats well, you just give a gadget. So he's glued and he's opening his mouth. But that's a very, very bad practice. I've also known extreme cases where even the brain is damaged. Like there are, the child develops problems with a lot of
Physical
yes,
issues.
please, absolutely, physical, mental
We
issues
faced
as well.
all this post-COVID when the children came back. The batch which came back after COVID, they couldn't
Really
speak.
bad.
They were
Exactly.
because they were glued to the system.
Yes.
Parents were working from home, long hours.
Exactly.
And they did not know how to look at you. They did not know how to communicate with you. That year was...
So according to the child psychology, exactly at what age we can introduce the gadgets to the child?
That is... See, gadgets, when psychology was written, there were no gadgets at all to be mentioned.
Yeah.
If you see the old principles which were made. As I again said you, what is necessary? There should be a restriction. Like children can't see the gadgets for hours to come. Below 3, it is not needed at all.
Absolutely.
Below 3, absolutely it's not needed. From 3 years, the child goes to school. As I said, for sounds or rhymes, or the child is facing problem interacting or communicating in English, yes, you want the child to hear 2 rhymes, it is fine. So maybe 10 minutes, but beyond that, it should not go. So it's completely parents have to restrict that beyond this many hours, not even hours, this many minutes, the child should be given. Then sent off to play. The child should go for physical activities.
Absolutely. May I just add one very important thing, because a very, very important point that you brought up. You should restrict mobile, TV usage to the very, very, very minimal. You cannot. It really impacts the brain of the child. It is not good for development at all. Even as adults, we get so hooked on to all this. I'm sure we all sit and browse. It's just at least for us, it's a worthless activity, but for children, it impacts their brain big time. I would really appeal to all parents to restrict mobiles as much as possible. You have no idea what that radiation causes. If you ask me, I know some parents who are very disciplined parents who don't give mobiles or even TV. No, the child goes and plays every day. That is something you must encourage. The child shouldn't play on a phone. He should go down, physically play. That's how we all grew up. And that's why we are much, I would say, better than what the previous, at least us older people, much better than what our immunity is better. Physically, we are better, stronger. And I would say even thinner or, than the kids today who don't do much of physical activity.
Now you'll see a lot of kids with glasses at a very young age.
Yeah.
By 4 years, they're all wearing glasses to school.
It hinders growth, to be very honest. Mobile browsing and mobile watching, it restricts the growth.
Small kids are playing games and they keep thinking about it in school also. They'll be doing all actions because they're constantly thinking or playing that game in their mind.
Actually, this topic, parents need to get more awareness on this.
Absolutely.
They need to.
How to upbring the child without the gadgets.
Absolutely.
At
They
least
must.
for 3 years.
Yeah, they must try and
Beyond
restrict
that also, it should be very restrictive. It can't be more than 10 minutes maybe if needed. Yes.
Next question to Sir. So, what is the biggest myth about how young children learn to talk?
I would think that I would say the biggest, the best thing you can do, I would answer it this way, the best thing you can do is put your child in an environment where there are a lot of other kids and there is that they can talk to each other. You don't have to teach language like ma'am in the earlier question where ma'am said you have to make the child think. The child learns from the environment. The child grasps really quickly. So the best thing you can do if you want to foster any language is to keep a child in an environment where there are other children, there's the adults, and encourage even at home, like ma'am rightly said, you encourage conversation, don't correct their grammar much. You encourage them to talk. You listen to them more than you want them to listen to you if you want them to learn. So you build that environment is most important. There is no great making them sit down and watch something to learn to talk. May I say, a child who's 1.5 years, who's not come to school, who comes to school for the first time, can speak the regional language, can speak a few sentences, 2 years old, can speak. How the child learned is from home.
Yeah.
They hear the father, mother learning. So the child hears, listens, and memorizes and learns very good. The memory is really good. Starting, say, 1.5, 2, the child can grasp big time.
Okay. So adding on to this question, so in the household itself, before preschool, some parents tend to give them the spellings, the numbers, everything.
That's
before preschool, pre-teaching. Yeah. So what's your take on that?
It should not happen. It's not the parents' fault because they are preparing the child for competition. They know there's a competition outside. Our child has to be best. Even in nursery, parents will say, is my child part of this competition? Has my child been selected for this activity? So there's so much competition in children. Parents, they don't understand that they are stealing the childhood of that little one. There, at that age of 3, 4 and 5, the child should not be worried about competition. Child would be more to express his feelings, run around, play, explore the world, explore the environment. But these competitions only make the parents teach is one. Second is what they have not done. They could have some delay. Those experiences also put pressure on them so that their child should not have that problem. The myth that you were talking about, there are many parents, when I tell them that why is your child speaking? Let's go back and they said, no, we didn't force the child to speak because I spoke late. I spoke at 3.5 years. My grandfather spoke at 4 years. So he will also speak at 4 years. Okay. So these,
I have also heard
the past experiences that they have or they have heard from others makes them do all these things. Teach the child beforehand or not allow the child, not converse with the child or encourage the child to speak. So.
Yeah. Rightly so. May I just add, if a parent devotes some time, if you're a parent who has the time to tell a story to your child, no matter how young, let's say your child is 1.5, you have a time to tell a story. You have a time to 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 encourage the child to talk a few words. At that age they can only speak a few words. If you're that sort of parent without any stress, see, if you're sitting the child down and say, okay, do this, do that, that will not help. You're just putting pressure on the child, and that is not the kind of learning you want to foster. But if you're taking your time out for various activities, you're teaching child, say, modes of transportation, what is a truck, what is a this, there's no harm. Yeah, there's no harm in that. That is great. See, as a parent, many parents I know do that sort of activity, but it must be done with no stress and no pressure on the child. You must build an environment where there is the child
they learn naturally.
Yes, please, they learn naturally. You give the independence to a child. You try and get the child to speak as many words as possible in whatever language, be it English or regional language, anything. That's a good environment to build. It's all about the environment you create. Even as a parent, what kind of environment you create. Even a child watching rhymes on TV for a while fosters language. It builds. When a child is singing wheels on the bus, he's learning wheels, bus. The tune is good. He's singing it.
Yeah.
Right? But he's also learning the words. So that for a limited period is also very, very good.
So, like, we had so many things in the plate. Like, we have got so many informations from you, and I know that this topic needs it's a vast thing. So
it can go on for hours and hours.
Hours of things, especially when it comes to early childhood. There are so many things to talk about it. So we are wrapping up the session. So in addition, like, you can give your insights or any additional things you can give to the audience.
Just one advice to parents is keep talking. Whatever
Absolutely.
comes to your mind, talk. Have a time in a day, maybe a dinner time or breakfast. Breakfasts are busy. Dinner time where all of you, I mean the father, mother, the child or grandparents if they are, sit and discuss what's happened. Maybe the child may not say initially what has happened in the school, or you tell, today I went to office, on the way I stopped here, or I saw a car speeding by, or I saw this. I mean, this just builds on, gives the child a lot of words that has happened, and gives the child confidence that you can share anything you want. So just casually, even if there's nothing to converse, have a time in a day for at least half an hour where just anything. We are just talking about anything that has happened in that day. It need not be structured. You don't have to think about it. Whatever comes in your mind, you just keep talking about. That's the best way to develop communication and confidence. The child develops that I can speak anything and I want at that particular time. Once the child gets that confidence, automatically, once the child meets friends or goes to school, that's how children come to the school and they tell us, yesterday I went to the mall, I did all this. Slowly that develops.
Yeah. I would like to say that please take time out as a parent. Please understand that you need to give some time, especially at this early age, to develop your child. Create an environment, like I keep saying, that fosters the growth of the child. Keep your child away from mobile phones and gadgets, right? Please encourage storytelling. Please encourage physical play. Your child, no matter what age, let's say 1.5, 2, 2.5, must be physically playing every day. Physical play leads to the expansion of the mind as well. The mind is connected to physical growth. Right? Being a trained teacher, I will say this. So the mind also expands when the child is playing physically. Very important for the child to physically play every day. And, choose a good preschool. Please do a lot of research on what is a good preschool which offers good learning. Don't look at academics much, but an activity-based, material-based approach would really, really help your child develop a lot.
Yeah, that's a great insight, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And that's the wrap up of this edition of Think Tank. Today's discussion reminded us that language blossoms where children feel heard and encouraged. Let's keep nurturing their voices at home and in school to help them confidently shape their world. This is Arya Vidya signing off until next time.